So to keep this talk fun and fresh and best practice focused, we thought it would be fun throughout the keynote to invite some of our friends who do communications well out there in the church and in culture to come on up on stage with us and to give us some of their best practices. Now, a lot of the people that we want to talk to are actually in the trenches right now, working, slogging it out. And so bringing them up on stage means connecting with them through an online platform. And so we are using Google Hangout and Google's on-air broadcast to connect with our special quick chat guests throughout the keynote. And we have with us Seth Hinz from the Michigan District. And Seth, it is awesome to have you here with us. Welcome to Best Practices. There are like 1,000+ people just like glad to meet you and talk with you a bit here about best practice communications in the Michigan District. And these good folks in the room all just heard us talking about how communications really change the whole ecology of a culture. They're not just something that's added in, they really change the fundamental nature of how people shape and share information and exchange relationship and all of those things about communications theory. What I'm hoping you can tell us a little bit about is how the social media phenomenon, which we know is no longer just a revolution, but how the social media era and the social economy have changed how Michigan folk in the district are talking and relating and interacting, even if they're not necessarily big social media people. So what can you tell us about what's going on in Michigan?
Awesome. Well, thanks, Gretchen. I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you all. I wish I could be there in person this time, but I'll be following along on Twitter and Facebook. So I'm excited to see everything that's happening there. For Michigan District, social media and email and everything's kind of just changed the way that we do business. We've kind of been able to approach ministry in a new way that Gretchen had this great saying, equip the saints to share the gospel. And we've kind of shortened that in some of my talks to say equip to share. And so from an organizational perspective, from a district perspective, we can kind of look at the landscape of Michigan and see what's going on in our state and speak into different areas and equip all the people equip professional church workers, equip laity with messages of hope, with messages of how to talk about certain issues that are out there. And so being able to kind of knock down any barriers of we have to call everybody or we have to set up some kind of elaborate prayer chain or something like that. We've been able to knock all that down and connect immediately with people. Some of that happens through Facebook groups. Some of that happens on Twitter, a lot through email. Don't give up on email, people. So it's knocked that down and just given us an opportunity to speak messages of hope into our community. And so we've just been having fun experimenting with all the different stuff that's out there. And it's just a great opportunity for us to connect with everyone. One of the biggest changes that happened in the Michigan District recently was a realignment of our mission and ministry facilitators. So our guys that go out into the field and kind of work with churches through situations, they were assigned based on average worship attendance for a while. And so their churches that they would be connecting could be 50 miles apart. And when you get in any state, really 50 miles apart could be in a completely different culture. So that ended up not making a lot of sense in the long run. So we switched to regional focused, and what that's done for us is put an emphasis on networking and the idea of better together. And so our guys are now being able to go out there, work with churches and saying, you want to do this ministry, but guess what? This church is already doing it and they're right down the road. So how can you partner together and work together in this way? And so a little tiny shift in that has just rippled out. And so you see that play out into social media too, because we put an emphasis on this ministry, and maybe the church down the street doesn't do it, but you can be in a Facebook group with other pastors in Michigan, and you guys can be talking about these things. And so we've knocked down a lot of barriers thanks to technology. And so it's just been an awesome opportunity for us to see that happen.
That is really an outstanding example of how really the social economy, as we call it, the relationship economy, has translated into kind of a restructure and approach to how you're doing communications online and offline. That's a great example. And Seth, thanks for everything that you do and lead out there in the Michigan District with wonderful President Meyer and the team there. And thanks for being with us at Best Practice, and we'll see you next time, right, for real here in Phoenix. So thanks so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. See you in the heartland, maybe.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.